The ring you got when you first got engaged, I mean, that was a perfect reflection of that moment, right?
Oh, absolutely. A huge, beautiful milestone.
But life evolves, successes happen, you hit new financial goals, and maybe, I don't know, after a decade or so, you look down and you think it's time for the next milestone piece.
Time for an upgrade that reflects where you are now.
Exactly. And so this deep dive is for you if you're curious about maximizing that whole process. How do you go from just wanting an upgrade to, actually getting the best value and designing something incredible?
It's a classic exchange problem, really. And what's fascinating is that it doesn't matter if you're trading in a set of premium golf clubs or a diamond ring. The mechanics are the same.
What do you
It
mean?
all comes down to two things: objective valuation and finding a transparent buyer.
That reminds me, I saw this amazing note in the sources about that. Someone found a complete set of high-end professional Strixon golf clubs for less than $350 total.
Wow, at a local exchange.
Yeah. And that just shows you the kind of high-value potential that's out there in the secondary market, if you know who to trust.
Absolutely. The margin between a fantastic deal and, frankly, a total ripoff is just immense in the used market.
So our job today is to arm you with the knowledge to stay on the right side of that equation.
That's the goal.
Okay. So our mission is threefold. First, we'll break down how jewelry valuation actually works. Then, how to use that to get the most for your trade-in.
And finally, the fun part, all the exciting decisions when you're designing that ultimate stone and setting up grade.
Navigating this, especially the valuation part, it can feel complicated. And let's be honest, sometimes a little shady.
It definitely can.
When the stakes are this high, you need absolute trust. That's why we're so glad to have the experts from Allen Gold and Silver Exchange sponsoring this deep dive.
They're really the benchmark for the kind of transparency we're talking about.
They are. They're the top trusted jewelry buyer and seller in Texas, right in Allen. And their five-star reputation comes from giving accurate, stress-free appraisals for everything from diamonds and antique jewelry to watches, coins, and luxury watches.
They're exactly who you want in your corner for this.
Okay, let's unpack this. Before we even think about a new ring, we need to know the true objective worth of the piece you're trading in.
Right.
Where do we even begin?
We always start with the material foundation. That means the metal and the stones. For the metal, especially gold, its value is strictly based on its pure gold content. It's a global standard.
And that's where the whole carat system comes into play, right? Because you see all these different numbers stamped on jewelry.
Exactly. So 24 karat is pure gold, 100%. But that's actually too soft for most jewelry, so it's mixed with other metals.
Which gives us the other carats.
Right. The most common ones you'll see are 18 karat, which is 75% pure. And you should look for a tiny little hallmark that says 750.
750 for 75%. Makes sense.
Or 14 karat, which is 58.3% pure. The hallmark for that is 583. You absolutely have to check for these little stamps, usually inside the ring or near a clasp.
And that purity percentage is basically the starting point for what a buyer can pay you for the metal.
It is. The calculation for the melt value is completely standardized. You don't need to do the math yourself, but you should know how reputable buyers do it. They take the item's weight, multiply it by that purity percentage, and then multiply that by the current spot price of gold per gram.
The spot price calculation can be confusing because you always hear about the troy ounce on the news.
That's a great point. The troy ounce is the standard. So a buyer calculates the price per gram by taking that troy ounce price and just dividing it by 31.1.
So if a buyer just offers you a single lump sum without breaking down the gold value from the stone value,
that's a massive red flag. They're skipping that crucial standard calculation.
it also helps you avoid things that just look like gold.
Definitely. If you see marks like GP for gold-plated or GF for gold-filled or even GEP that's gold electroplated, it means the item isn't solid gold and its trade-in value is dramatically lower.
So first you confirm those purity hallmarks. Then, once the metal value is nailed down, we get to the stones. And this is where the value spectrum just explodes.
That is where the expertise really, really matters. The sources took us on this wild tour of the gem world. I mean, you can have a stone worth $1, like a common rhodochrosite garnet.
Okay.
And on the other end, you have something like a massive emerald-cut alexandrite valued at $10 million.
$10 million. That range alone must be terrifying if you don't have an expert on your side.
It is. The difference between a real appraisal from a certified gemologist and just a guess could literally be six figures, especially with large diamonds, rare sapphires, exotic
So
gems.
getting that expert appraisal is just non-negotiable.
It has to be. It ensures you capture the true value of that stone's quality and its origin before you even start to negotiate the trade-in.
So let's talk about that decision point. We know retail has these insane markups. Is it even possible to get close to what you originally paid, or should you just reset your expectations right away?
You absolutely need to reset your expectations. The retail markup problem is real. We're talking 300% to 1,000%, sometimes even more, and that's not even counting the ultra-luxury brands.
And that markup covers their costs, their risks, their profit.
Right. So your trade-in value isn't based on that retail price. It's based on the material's actual melt value.
So knowing that material value, if I'm ready to sell or trade in my piece, how do I find a transparent buyer? How do I not get ripped off?
Well, you basically have two kinds of venues. You have specialized buyers or jewelers, and you have pawn shops.
Okay.
Pawn shops can do two things. They can give you a secured loan with the item as collateral, and that's often regulated by the state, with pretty low interest rate caps sometimes. Or they just buy the item from you outright, a quick cash deal.
But either way, they have to assess what it's worth.
Right. And they also have to comply with anti-stolen goods laws, so they'll need your ID, and there are mandatory holding periods.
But the challenge is still that markup. I remember the sources saying that if you're buying new gold jewelry, you should try to negotiate so you don't pay more than double the melt value.
Exactly, and that puts the pressure back on you as the seller to get the best return. This is where the undercover data from the sources gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It just highlights how critical it is to choose a highly reviewed local expert over some anonymous, traveling buyer.
What do they find?
The investigation was staggering. Offers for the exact same gold ranged drastically. The traveling lump sum gold buyers, they offered as little as 47% of the gold's actual market value.
47%, that's less than half. You're losing half the value right there.
Right. But then, on the other side of that, a highly reputable local jeweler offered 86% of the gold's market value.
Wow. That's a nearly 40-point swing. That's the difference between successful upgrade and a huge financial mistake.
It really is. The implication is crystal clear. To get maximum value, you have to insist on transparency.
An itemized appraisal.
Precisely. You get lowballed when a buyer just offers a lump sum and won't tell you what they're paying for the gold versus the stones. You need that itemized breakdown.
That clarity is everything.
It is. And getting that kind of guaranteed transparency is why using a trusted local buyer like Allen Gold and Silver Exchange is just non-negotiable. That's the difference between getting 47% and getting 86%.
Okay, so we've maximized the value of our old ring. Let's pivot to the fun part now. The upgrade. When it comes to the stone and the setting, what are the key decisions to get the best visual impact for your money?
With diamonds, which are all graded on the GIA's 4Cs standard, the goal is always to find that sweet spot, the best bang for your buck, where you maximize the brilliance without paying a premium for quality you can't even see.
So which of the 4Cs should be the top priority?
Cut. Always cut. The cut determines the sparkle, how the stone reflects light. I mean, if the cut is poor, the stone will just look dull. It doesn't matter what its color or clarity is.
So you have to aim for a very good or an excellent cut.
You must. That's where your investment gives you the biggest visual return, period.
Okay, cut is locked in. Where's the value sweet spot for color and clarity?
This is where you save money. For color, you want to aim for the GHI category. Most people, honestly, cannot see the difference between those and the totally colorless grades ED, E, F, once the stone is set in metal.
Especially in yellow gold, I'd imagine.
Exactly. But the price difference is huge, and it's a similar story for clarity. Stick to SI1.
SI1.
Jewelers call these eye clean. I always tell people, if you need a jeweler's loupe, a magnifying glass, to see the flaw, you don't need to pay thousands of dollars extra just to eliminate it.
That's a great rule of thumb. Don't pay for quality the naked eye can't see.
Put that premium you save toward a bigger carat size or an even better cut instead.
Are there any tricks when it comes to the carat weight itself?
Yes, a big one. Avoid the magic numbers.
What are the magic numbers?
Think 1 carat, 1.5, 2 carats. They're highly sought after, so the price spikes right at those marks. If you choose a stone just shy of that, say a 0.9 carat instead of a 1.0.
A 1.4 instead of a 1.5?
Exactly. You can save hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for a size difference no one will ever be able to see.
Now, what if the upgrade isn't a traditional diamond? The world of exotic gems seems even more
Oh,
complex.
absolutely. Beyond that huge value range we talked about, true rarity is found in things like color saturation and unique origins. For example, a purple sapphire is rare, but an unheated purple sapphire, that's exponentially more valuable.
So treatment status is a huge deal.
Huge. And then you have stones like Brazilian Paraiba tourmaline, which has this incredible neon blue-green color. It can command seven-figure prices. Understanding all that is another reason you just need an expert to guide the purchase.
And once that perfect stone is chosen, the setting is what really makes it feel modern and custom. I know the sources mentioned low-profile settings are really popular right now.
Custom design is soaring because people want a ring that fits their actual lifestyle. And low-profile settings, inspired by popular designs like the Haley setting, they're just incredibly practical.
Because they sit closer to the finger.
Right. So the ring stops spinning around. It doesn't snag on your clothes or gloves as much. It just makes it so much more comfortable for daily wear.
But that design choice does create a challenge for the wedding band, doesn't it?
It does. A big one. Because the engagement ring sits so low, a normal, straight wedding band creates this really obvious, kind of unappealing, huge gap.
So what's the solution?
The strategic solution is a contoured wedding band, one that's specifically designed to sit perfectly flush against the base of the engagement ring.
That's such a key detail to think about ahead of time. Are there any other aesthetic tricks for the setting itself?
Yeah, a simple but really effective one is using a two-tone setting.
Okay, what does that mean?
Let's say you have a yellow or rose gold band. You can set the diamond in white gold or platinum prongs. By doing that, you reduce the color contrast, and it makes the center stone appear icy white.
That is a fantastic insider tip.
Yeah.
You're maximizing the visual appeal without having to spend more on a higher color grade diamond.
Exactly.
Okay, so you now have the core knowledge to approach an upgrade with confidence. You know how to value the gold. You know the critical importance of seeking out a reputable local buyer to avoid that 47% lowball offer.
And you know where to strategically invest your money for the biggest impact in the new ring. Prioritize cut and find that color and clarity sweet spot.
Right.
Just remember that knowledge and trust are your greatest assets here. I mean, the data shows that choosing a transparent, itemized appraisal from a trusted local expert can mean nearly 40% more value back in your pocket.
And that's money you can put directly toward that perfect upgrade. If you're ready to explore a redesign, or you just want a free, no-obligation appraisal for your valuables.
Whether it's a diamond, antique jewelry, gems, coins, gold, watches, whatever it is.
We really encourage you to reach out to the experts who prioritize that transparency.
Call the top trusted jewelry buyer and seller in Texas, Allen Gold and Silver Exchange. The number is 403-8356.
Their 5-star reviews really back up their commitment to fair, transparent service right there in Allen, Texas. They'll make the whole process stress-free and meaningful.
It really will.
We started this deep dive talking about finding high-value items because someone was, done with this set and ready for the new ones. The jewelry you trade in represents the person you were then. So as you move forward, think about this. What is the next major stage of your life that your upgraded ring needs to reflect? Go find that perfect match.